Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Kingdom Living. On today's episode, we're talking about willing workers. Now, I'm gonna jump straight into it. How many people have went to church and they heard, "Hey, I need y'all to get to work. I need y'all to get to work." Well, I'm here to tell you that God is looking for willing workers. I like for us to take a step and peer back into the reality of certain things and really change the way that we think about this thing called willing workers. All right? Take a moment to think about how you act for your jobs. Some of you work 2 or 3 jobs because your family requires this and this and that, low income, low education, whatever the case may have been. Maybe the market for jobs has been, poor. And you work these jobs, and what happens is you spend less time with your family, less time praying, less time going to church, but you wake up early. You go there left and right, left and right, left and right. It's like, wow, really, you want a break. And the system of this world is not designed for you. Remember that. The system of this world is not designed for you. So you're going to work, and it's almost like you're zombies. It's almost like you're dead. Remember what I just said. It's almost like you're dead. Willing workers. You're doing all this work for your boss. But God is also requiring you to do some work. I want to point out a verse in the Bible that some of us probably have read or overread or looked over it. In Genesis 2, verse 5, it says, "Now no shrub had yet appeared on the earth, and no plant had sprung up." Could you imagine that? Why did no plant, no shrub spring up? For God had not sent rain on the earth, and there was no one to work the ground. I want you to pause right there. Work. God stopped growth because there was no one to work. I wish you could get that in your spirit right now. Work. Purpose. It could be said that God retards growth because you refuse to work. There are a lot of us who are praying night and day, and then we forget it all and go straight to work and work for the boss and expect things to happen, but we're not working actively in his kingdom. I need us to really conceive that thought and change our thinking, because he is looking for workers. You want a better living situation. You want your community to grow, to flourish, to become more than what it is. You have vision for what it needs to be, but you're not willing to work. There's a problem. Some of us are praying and some of us get angry at God and say, "Why is this not working? Why?" And he's simply saying, you choose not to work. You choose not to fulfill the purpose that I put in you. I need us to really, really grasp this. Work is important. Your work, the breakdown definition of work is simply become yourself. Become who you was meant to be. Work. Say it loud. Repeat after me. Work. Shake the rooftop of your house, of your car, wherever you at. Shake it. Work. Work. It's very important. It was given to the male and also given to the female. Now, there's certain things that the male needs to be doing, and there's certain things that the female needs to be doing, but both of them are working. What have we have done lately for his kingdom? Now, some of us have this religious notion that, oh, I don't gotta do nothing. I'm just I'll just wait on God and yeah. No. We have to work. You don't believe me? I want us to go to Matthew just to give you a little glimpse of work. Matthew 9. Now, Jesus was in the synagogue. This is Matthew 9, verse 18. While he was saying this, a synagogue leader came and knelt before him, said, "My daughter has just died. But come and put your hand on her, and she will live." Jesus got up and went with them, and so did his disciples. Just then, a woman who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak. She said to herself, "If I only touch his cloak, I will be healed." Stop right there. Look. She wouldn't have been healed if Jesus wasn't working. He will spend hours and hours and hours praying and praying, getting the communication line from heaven, from God, saying, "This is what I need you to do. Look, there's a woman who needs to be healed. I just need you to walk by doing your purpose. I walk by doing your work. Walk by doing this." So work requires what? Communication. If we call ourselves Christians, we must learn from Jesus himself. And he stayed in constant communication. So work is your purpose. And the only way you can know your purpose is by communicating with the one who had made you. Now, I know who made me. Do you know who made you? You came from the manufacturer. So you go ask the manufacturer, "Hey, what am I supposed to be doing? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing?" Remember, even at age 12, Jesus said, "I must be about my Father's business." And here we are, slaving to the system, slaving to another man's job, not even time for prayer. Not even time to look around and survey the land and say, the kingdom of heaven needs to be here. It needs to be here. Let me tell you something, friends. People are starving for the kingdom. People are really, man, they throwing skin and bones, man. They over here just starving, hungry, walking around half dead, looking for the kingdom. And all they need is a worker to come in there and do some work. Hello. Take heart, daughter. Your faith has healed you. Because the kingdom of heaven is here. We need some ambassadors to walk through these cities. See, we want to ride. We want to protest. We want to hold our signs and banners and say, it ain't working. It hasn't worked for the last few decades, centuries. It has not worked. But his kingdom works. But it just needs you to work. You are that important. Don't let anybody ever tell you that. The spirit that God put inside you allows you to communicate back to the Creator, for you to communicate, and you have legal authority to operate on earth to do the work that he is requiring us to do. You don't believe me? Okay, some of you are really right now saying, what is this man talking about? God does whatever he wants. Some of you actually have that thought. And some of you take that thought even further and say, why should we even pray? Let me tell you something. The Bible says choose. Choice. Choice. It's your choice. Have you read how Jesus got his disciples? Follow me. That's a real leader right there. See, let me take a moment to explain to you what a leader is. See, a leader gets people to lead, gets people to follow him, rather, not by force, but by this thing called love. Jesus said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. It's not, you'll keep my commandments or I'll beat you. He doesn't say that. The difference between a leader and a dictator. So as we continue reading, we go down and we say, Jesus entered to the synagogue's leader's house and saw the crowd. They was being all loud and weeping. I mean, the girl just, what they assumed died. And there's a lot of us here walking around this world, appear dead. And waiting for that worker to come through and say, hey, I'm an ambassador of Christ. I am an ambassador of Christ. I bring the embassy with me wherever I go. The Son is here. What do you need? We are his children. Did you know that? We are his children. So the Son is here. The daughter is here. What do you need? The embassy of heaven has arrived. Let's go. What you need? And the people really didn't know that you had the resurrection right there. Right there. Reviving people. That's for another date. I want you to keep reading Matthew 9. Keep reading it. Two blind men followed him. Have mercy on us, son of David. Do you believe that I'm able to do this, you blind people? Yes. The kingdom is here. The kingdom has healing. Has every single issue that you have. The kingdom has a fix. Don't you want to be a part of this? Don't you want to be a citizen? I do. I raise my hand proudly and say, I do. Take my hand. Lead me. Stay in constant communication with them. Be a willing worker. You still need more proof? All right. What happens when the embassy is traveling? There was a demon it was a man who was demon possessed and could not talk. And when the demon was driven out, the man who had been mute spoke. And everybody around you who was in a state of crisis because they didn't know what to do, that sounds like us, said, never have I seen anything like this in Houston. Never have I seen anything like this in Japan. Never have I seen anything like this in my community. The kingdom is coming. And get that work in. And wow. Even he puts it out there. Verse 37, he says, then he said to his disciples, because all the people have been gathering up because he was teaching the good news of the kingdom and healing every sickness and disease. And he saw the crowd, he had compassion on them. But then he said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. He's saying it right there. The people are starving for this. They're starving. And we ain't got no workers. Work. Stay in constant communication. Stop walking around dead. Wake up. People like to say, "Oh, I'm woke." Oh yeah, yeah. It's been translated. It's been translated. I don't want to hear that. The kingdom of heaven has arrived. Our translations, our judgment, our movement. Look, it's never ever worked. From from Adam and Eve putting their own judgment on eating, all the way up to crucify him, all the way up to let's vote him in, all the way up to let's build these weapons of mass destruction. Let's do this and let's do this. Let's elevate ourselves. It ain't working. We on a rampage to kill each other off. But his kingdom is here. Just waiting on a worker to go walking by. How many times, I want to give you a mental picture. You're driving down the road. I know people in Houston can really relate to this. You're driving down the road and you get to the freeway on 45. And from magical part of the day, you just go. You're just going straight. And you look to the other side and it's traffic. They're stuck. They're frustrated. They're angry. The ambulance can't get around. The police officers can't get around, but you're just flowing. That's what it feels like when you're walking around with the embassy. The state of the world can be at a crisis, but you're walking around saying, my help comes from he who sent me. Do you need more proof? Go read your Bible. Think about what happened in Egypt, a famine. But you had a man who was communicating with God who knew how to get past the crisis. Stop walking around dead people. Wake up. You have a high priest in heaven who's saying, hey, I've been there. I done. I saw it. I'm going to help you. The kingdom of heaven has arrived. The governor brought the kingdom on his shoulders. Become yourself. Be a willing worker. Work just as hard for God, even more hard for God than you do with your job. Now, I'm not downing you for having your job, but I am saying fix your priorities. You want to wake up early, be on time so you can make that paycheck? Wake up earlier. Pray. Wake up a little bit earlier. Go to bed. Cut off the TV. Maybe. Watch, maybe cut off some of them shows. Study his word. Have devotions with your wife. Be a worker. I said to myself I wasn't going to go there. But men, male units of the body, of the human race, men, you need to get this right now. If you are not in the word, if all you bring in home is just work from your job, you're not bringing home anything for your wife. You need to be bringing in home the word. You need to be teaching her. You need to be cultivating her. You need to be working. Your work is your purpose. And she was help her. She helps you with your vision, your purpose. But you can't know it if you ain't reading. So instead of you going from job to job, failing at job to job because you're dependent on the job to supply your needs instead of the source, your Father, you're losing, man. Work just as hard or even harder for God, because there will be your reward. your inheritance. The time of the gold watch and retirement is over. That doesn't mean anything. What are you going to do when your back is hurting and they don't want to mess with you no more? They don't want to hire you. They don't want to do nothing. What you going to be doing? Wake up. Work for God in all that you do and show the world, the system that you're in, that you've been strategically placed in. Show them the good news. 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 And then you can start your path of being a willing worker. It's Christopher Banks. I love you guys. Be blessed.